What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about T2. I want to give you an overview of some of the current data points, what shorts have been doing, and what their plan is, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So based on Friday, it did go down 7.99%. 448,000 for volume, 497 is the average. So when it comes down to Friday, or just even looking over the last several days, it has been very disappointing, especially considering the broader market and a lot of growth stocks were rallying on Thursday and Friday. But the fact that it closed pretty significant is, once again, not necessarily the best. And I think that is hurting the sentiment so much more and really not causing a lot of investors or retail investors to get in. And based on this, clearly big money's not really getting in as well. So something to kind of consider, but most likely that does stem back down to the last earnings, where they did say that Q4 was going to be a little bit more lackluster and most likely that they were going to be needing a capital, so meaning dilution. So not necessarily the best, unfortunately, but this did come out yesterday, so saying that T2 is going to be participating in a service forum, or the Digital Health and Service Forum, that's going to be held on Thursday, November the 16th. Once again, I think this is definitely good, especially to get their name out there, but is there a reason to go out and buy T2? Not really. So this is a little bit more under the fluff category. But technically, though, this news did come out on November the 1st saying that T2 essentially did regain compliance with the Nasdaq. And if you look under the Nasdaq's website, it confirms that. So that's definitely good. The whole purpose of the whole reverse stock split was to get compliance, and they got that. But as of my last video, which was roughly around 2 weeks ago, I kind of did allude to what shorts might be doing and what their plan is. And if we zoom out and look over the last 16 days, essentially, it has been very suppressed. And obviously ever since the whole reverse stock split. And if we kind of scroll down here, look at the market cap, it is right now 18.04 million. And one thing that I did say last video was this: based on rule 5550 B sub 2, that ultimately any company below that 35 mil market cap essentially could be delisted as a result of that. So if any company does trade below that 35 mil market cap for a consecutive amount of 30 business days, then they could be on the chopping block once again with the Nasdaq. And this deficiency is a lot harder to rectify than that $1 bid price rule. Obviously, because with that $1 one, they can kind of just do a reverse stock split and rectify it as what they did do. But with this one, you literally need to bring the share price up. You can't do another reverse stock split. That wouldn't help the market cap whatsoever, right? So essentially, the only things that you can do is a buyback, but they don't have the capital to do that in this kind of scenario, especially based on last earnings. I think they said they had around 23.5 million, if I remember correctly, but they're burning through about 51 million in operations. So that just doesn't add up, especially as well, like I said, they needed probably capital this quarter in among itself. So you just need to get the damn job done and do good operational updates. But they've not really been doing that either. So this is something that might be coming down the pipeline near the end of November, potentially. Once again, I'm just bringing this up just to let you guys know, but most likely this is exactly what shorts are trying to do, especially if you kind of look at what they've been strategically doing on the chart. Beginning of the day and during power hour, this is when they're most active. So again, not necessarily the best, but I'll give you a quick overview of what shorts are doing. So based on Ortex, it is still glitching. They fixed some things, but post reverse stock split, the short interest is showing now as 19.12%, 633.51 thousand shares overall are being shorted. It doesn't show any changes from Friday. So like I said, it's still glitching. Plus it doesn't show any shares are available to be shorted. It doesn't show any information whatsoever. But if you look on the actual chart, the teal line, it does show by the end that they returned roughly around 24.4 thousand shares. So once again, Ortex is kind of having some issues. Similarly, looking at options, I'll give you a breakdown of that in a second, but cost to borrow average is 84.05%. And if we go over to Interactive Brokers, it does say technically that there's around 25,000 shares available. So that kind of fills in this blank right here. But still, the fact that Ortex is giving still errors, not necessarily the best. And even if we look at options, this is very weird. So my last update, or my last video essentially, I did ask if anyone had options prior to the whole reverse stock split. I'm very curious to see, did your brokers make a custom chain for you? Which obviously typically what would happen is you'd be able to hold it or sell it. You can't add to that specific chain. So once again, that's maybe something that they've done already. Just obviously I didn't have any T2 options prior to the reverse stock split, but it doesn't look like they've actually kicked off any options whatsoever. So no new chains at all. So that's kind of weird in my opinion. And like I said, maybe it has something to do bigger picture of manipulation, or maybe not. Maybe just market makers didn't find it advantageous to do any options. Maybe the volume wasn't really worthwhile. Who knows? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But let's talk on some technicals. So based on Friday, it did close at $5.41. So between this S1 and the pivot. So $5.13 is going to be that next strong line in the sand. So very strong support. Vice versa, $5.65 is going to be the next strong resistance. And of course, it kind of did break that a little bit. And there's a wide gap in between all of these pivot points. So you have to anticipate that there's going to be a lot of volatility in the short term, and most likely shorts are going to continue to suppress T2 until this whole deficiency is kicked off, and then they are kind of in real trouble a little bit. So once again, this is something that you need to kind of be aware of. And ultimately, based on the technicals, like I said, I do feel that T2 has been lagging because a lot of the other growth stocks over the last couple of days are currently trading between the R1 and the R2. So definitely something is wrong with T2, and most likely it has to do with a combination of just manipulation happening, and as well, I know there's a lot of bulls out there that absolutely love T2, but right now, if I can be frank, the operations have sucked. And especially the last earnings, my takeaways were that there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes, operationally, very positive things. But you're going to need capital. And that's actually why they did the whole reverse stock split, is to stay on the Nasdaq, because by doing so, you have more access to liquidity to obviously dilute and whatever else. So once again, not necessarily the best. So if people are really anticipating that dilution is going to be occurring during Q4 or during a set time period, it kind of really takes away the incentive to buy. So most likely this is exactly why there has been lower and lower volume for the greater part of around 2 weeks. So I don't know, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying T2 over the last little bit, or have you been selling, or am I missing a very big catalyst that potentially could be coming out that might drive the price up? Like, if so, let me know in the comments below. But like I said, if you guys have actually had options prior to this, give yourself a shout out and potentially what your broker actually did. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And one final thing, take advantage of this promo with Moomoo. They completely revamped it, so it kicks ass right now, only up until November the 20th. But sign up for an account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000, plus you get 1 free share of SoFi and any cash that you do have in this account. So even if you throw the $100 at it, the $100 is going to be earning 5.1 APY, then you'll get that 6 free shares. So very, very kick-ass offer, only up until November the 20th. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.